Hello and welcome to another video. Today a bit of a different video because I will today show you guys my perspective of the last Thijmen video where I actually participated. So if you like the video, make sure to like, subscribe to not miss any more videos. And now have fun with this a bit of a different but still good video. Okay, now, welcome into this video now. So the first thing I had to do was basically start everything because when we were there, Time just wanted us to first look at the whole build because now that's what I'm basically doing. I'm looking what the person in front of me built, in this case Matt, Dan, and other people. Like the whole entrance was done. This area was the only one done, so I had to build some stuff. What I wanted to come up with was basically build a rock wall to surround all of that thing. You probably have seen Timon's video already, so you know that kind of worked, and it kind of gave a starting point for other people to also do rock walls like Gorla or Brem or Chronosy. They also did the exact same thing. So what I wanted to do was basically just create one rock wall pattern that I can just copy all over the whole thing. And yeah, that's what basically I'm right now doing here. Um, Doing rock walls custom is actually quite easy. You just copy a couple of things and then you can just copy it all around, make it a bit bigger, then copy it again. You can see now I have one big wall here out of those smaller pieces. And what I'm doing now is making it even bigger, like an even bigger piece out of smaller pieces. But first I had to paint it. Painting it is something really important because it gives the whole thing life. Like you see here, it's also not just one color, it's multiple colors. Yeah. Now to make it even more live looking, because I want to bring some life in it, I put on some leaves to make it look a bit more active, a bit more living. Because in the forest there's often moss on things, there are often bushes. So I kind of made it clear that this is one of those things. Mm. Now I'm copying it even bigger, because of course if I copy it small pieces all over, it just takes too much time. So what you can see, what I'm doing here, is taking those big pieces and just copying those. You can see this also works quite well. And how I make it look even better is by just putting some up and some down, and then rotate some. That just gives it even more, it makes it look more random, because of course this is still copy pasted, so it doesn't look too natural. So you have to move some a bit. But if you do that correctly and you even repaint some, which I didn't have the time in this case, but if you paint some a bit different, it looks even better. Yeah, what you can now see here, I thought about, okay, there's a big empty space, how can I fill that? My solution was building a coaster, because there only was one coaster, and of course it's a theme park. I didn't know how much time I had left, so what I was is just build a coaster and try to give like my personal note in this. And I like building coasters, small coasters, big coasters. It's everything's cool. It works good. So what I did here was basically start the coaster from the back, because I like starting from the back a bit. What I did now though is, yeah, I had no idea for the layout, so I start from front, because if you have no idea what the layout is, it's hard to make one. So now I started with a chain lift here that goes a bit up. I didn't want to make the coaster too high, because of course it's still a kiddie coaster. Of course I still wanted to blend in a bit. It's not the main thing of this park. I never wanted it's to be one of the main things in the park, but it is a nice addition. Every big park needs a kiddie coaster. Yeah, so that was basically my intention with this coaster. And as you can see, the layout is actually quite long. It is, yeah, it is, for a kiddie coaster that is in this size, it's a bit small. But no, it's in a coaster for this size, it's a bit big as well. So what I did now was make a hole, and I still remember talking to Timon in that moment, because whoever did this floor has no idea from pavement inside of Theme Park Tycoon 2. Later, I found out Matt was the person who doing this floor with the floor tiles. This is not a good idea, Matt. Please don't do this in the future if you're competing in these challenges, because this is just annoying. You can just take one of those rock pieces and make it small and then putting it all over. This is much faster, and you can even apply different textures to it. But of course, I think you already know this, but please don't do this in future challenges. What I did now was test it a bit because, of course, the coaster has to work good, it has to function. This is basically my biggest fear while building a roller coaster in a challenge, that it doesn't work. So, in this case, it worked quite well actually. I changed the friction, I believe, or gravity a bit, so it is a bit faster because it was quite slow at the start. So what I did now was basically color the track a bit because, of course, the color of the track is a bit bad. But what I also did was make a hole here because, of course, still there is bit floor. You have to go to the floor, and I don't really want that. Since I didn't have the time, I still had to use Matt's tactic with the floor here, although I didn't quite like it. And as you can see, it doesn't look quite good. Yeah, now I'm changing the colors for the track here so it blends in a bit more. And also, as you can see, I'm not doing custom supports on this one because, of course, I don't have the time. I thought about actually doing that or giving other people presets for that, but that would have just not fitted in a time because, of course, the other people didn't have too much time as well. I think I used my time quite well, as you can see also in the end. Yeah, but still, I don't have unlimited time. The others don't, so I shouldn't really give them custom support presets, although it may have looked good. And I also thought about quite focusing on this area a bit, as you can see here. At this moment, I didn't thought about doing another area. In this moment, I just thought about, okay, how can I make this area look good? Because I got this area given in a quite bad state. It looked good, yes, but it wasn't. You could see basically that it's just a couple of stuff randomly placed, and that just doesn't look good. So what I thought, like already said, I just do rock walls. This rock wall also gives other people space to basically adapt to it, like I did sooner with the sand or desert area. You can just build onto that, and that's just a thing that's really cool, that's really easy to do. If you have such a rock wall around it, you don't have to build out of fence, you don't have a rock wall is always really good to do. Now, what I had to look out here was all of those houses because why should I really delete those houses to make place for my rock wall? Those houses looked really good actually. I think they are made by Danny. I don't know. I don't really remember it. But as you can see here now, I was basically done with the rock wall. In the background, you can already see the coasters placed by Matt. He placed those to give her a kind of an inspiration for the next ride. And I actually thought about using the other coasters, but I deleted like the other coasters because what do you want to do with an invert in this space? To do an invert, you need more time to do it. And for a hyper coaster, it just wouldn't look good. You could make a hyper layout, but it just wouldn't look good in a whole theme park in this space. It would just go over the barriers. So what I thought about now is making a single rail coaster because this park already had two coasters and one of them is a kiddie coaster and no second area. So what I did, I was just starting and randomly doing a layout. At the end, it worked out kind of well because I didn't change a single track piece at the end. If I'm right, Bram changed a track piece at the end because just to make it a bit better. But for the layout wise, nothing was changed. I'm quite happy how it turned out. Of course, it's not the longest single rail coaster or the best single rail coaster, but it works for a challenge like this. You can't go wrong with a single rail coaster. You just start with a launch top head, and it just works. Now, what I thought, okay, I have some space. I shouldn't take up too much space because I have to theme it at the end. So, what's logical decision? You just make a dark area, like a area that's just completely indoors. For example, coasters like Eurostar and Europa Park have that, or the Lift of Eurome. It's just indoors. First, it helps with rain, and second, it's just a great thing being in a black room and just riding through that, it makes the ride better actually because you don't see what's coming. In real life, it's quite fun. In the game, I thought about maybe adding some lights, but at the end, I thought like, no. Yeah. So, as you can see here, I continued the layout. At this point, I had no idea where I should go. I just knew, okay, I have to go back to the station if I want to theme this. Here I had a bit of problems with the track, and now how do I get up there again? That's just yeah. Okay, and now I hit the brakes. Of course, this piece has to be a bit better aligned, but as you can see, it worked quite well. Now the brakes are now around the corner here, and then just connected with some brakes to the station again, and there you have a awesome little coaster that quite works actually well. It was smooth, it was good speed, so don't have anything to say against it. It's a good ride. So what I did next was, okay, I have now this coaster, but how do I theme it? The first thing was, of course, open up the space here I made, and the second thing was, how do I theme it again? We already have this forest-ish theme with like those normal bright rocks. But what I want to do now is a forest theme, or like not a forest theme, like a desert theme with like those yellow rocks. So like those sand rocks you also know from Minecraft maybe. That's like a theme that's often a bit underrated because it's actually quite a good theme. You can make a lot of stuff with you have all those cacti, you have all those you can even adapt a western theme to it. It's just a great thing you can do. In the same moment, I also found the track color really funny that I actually found the track color by accident, but it worked at the end. Yeah, what I did kind of not too smart was not just place one thing and then copy it over. So now I had to basically copy it again all over and then just make holes again. Like the holes went kind of good. I didn't have to change anything up there. And for the rest, it just looks good right here. As you can see, did quite well here with all those placings, all the coloring. Now I did some second coloring because I always like to bring two, three, or four colors into one rock wall. That's just the best way. If you do too many colors, you can really see that it's not good. And if you don't do enough, people see, okay, it's just one color. Yeah. What I did now is just place the walls for the indoor section, because indoors you don't need to build like rocks. It would just take money, it would just take the time to color. So what I did is just take the wall and make it black, either plastic or metal. I think metal or plastic. I think plastic works a bit better than metal because metal has like this shiny stiffing still. Yeah, but yeah, what I did was paint the whole thing black, and that's basically it. So what I did now is lay out the floor. First I thought it was a snow texture, but then I remembered there is actually a sand texture. I was a bit dumb in that moment to not find that. But yeah, now you can see a really easy but working floor. You don't need to make it the most detailed floor, you just need the texture of floor in this case. Yeah, and then just paint another rock wall because painting rock walls is not already done enough. That's basically what I did like half of this episode probably, or half of this video. Most of it got cut out, which is good because it was actually quite annoying for me, but still I had some good conversations with Thijmen as well, especially in this moment. It was quite fun, the recording. Although, yes, it was stressing, but I would do it again every time. Here I stuck myself a bit in the wall, which is just annoying for the time, but still I thought, okay, maybe I did still a good run here. And as you can see, those rock walls just make a lot. It because I copied so much, it still looks a bit copied, but if you give it a bit more time, you can see already now it looks good. You can use it for multiple themes. I just showed it in here. You can use it for multiple themes. Um, yeah. What I did now, I had to open even more spaces because, yeah, I just maybe this was not the smartest decision, but at the end it kind of worked out because Bram made sort of a canyon around it. I don't quite remember how he did it, but now I had no idea. I wanted to implement some cacti because Timon gave me the idea, or like he kind of mentioned, okay, why don't you add like a cacti? But then like, okay, it doesn't quite work that good, and like, yeah. So what I went with was just a simple wall to enclose it a bit. I wanted to keep it a bit lower because in the first moment I wanted to have it open so you can actually see it from the station, but that didn't quite work out because I don't know, it just the wall was then still too big. That's a bit of a problem that I sometimes have. But yeah, now you can see I just had no idea what to do. It was just, I was getting to the end, and now I said, okay, maybe I let someone else finish this because I don't have the time. So what I did in my last minute was just add a train. That was kind of a not good idea. I mean, it doesn't look bad, especially at the end. It wasn't bad, but it still in the afterwork. I wouldn't have done it again because it still takes it took some time that I could have used for something else. For example, make the station a bit better. But what do you want to do? Well, that was my perspective from the last Thijmen video. If you just enjoyed what you saw, make sure to like and subscribe to not miss any more of my videos. And yeah, have a great day and see you guys in the next video. Bye!